Hello once again guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day so far. So what we're going to be doing today is a follow-up video to one that I posted the other day on the difference between Visa and MasterCard. And it's another question that I get frequently from people. That's an excellent question, and it's one of these money lessons that you just don't learn in school, but it's really quite important. And that is the difference between using debit versus credit when you're making a purchase with a debit card. So let me ask you guys a question if this has ever happened to you before. You're at the store and you swipe your debit card, and then all of a sudden on the pin pad it says credit or debit. And then you basically just take a random guess. Maybe you cover your eyes and you put your finger down and whatever one it lands on you decide on, because most of us have no clue what is the difference between credit or debit and why you would possibly want to use one over the other. Well, that's what I'm going to show you guys in this video, is what is the difference and when you might want to use one over the other. So first of all, this sounds like common sense, but let me just go ahead and make this clear with you guys. If you're using a credit card, obviously that can only be used as credit, but it's when you're using a debit card that you have the option of using it as credit or debit at certain merchants. And so let's go ahead and talk about the differences between these things and maybe one myth that people have that I couldn't believe. It's kind of unbelievable, but we're going to share that at the end. So number one, debit can allow you to get cash back. If you've been to the grocery store before and you swipe and you use your debit card as debit, they will often ask you, do you want to get cash back? Now, there is one advantage to this as opposed to going to an ATM, and that is the fact that it's often a little bit cheaper than an ATM fee. So if your typical ATM fee is around $2.50, you might find that the cash back fee when you're already making a purchase is just $1. And that is because they have a direct connection to your bank account where they can withdraw money for you on your behalf. So if you're looking to get cash back, always use your debit card as debit when you're making a purchase. Second of all, the big one here is that debit transactions post immediately, while credit transactions may take a couple of days to process. And so I hope this is not you guys, but some people are in a situation where, their bank account is getting quite low and they may be in a situation where they're about to overdraw their account. Well, if you're in that situation, obviously it would make more sense to run that transaction as credit as opposed to debit, because it will take a couple of days, or it may take a couple of days to post, and in the meantime you can scrape together some money and put it into your account. Now, the reason behind this is because when you use a debit card, it is an EFT or electronic funds transfer network, or a direct connection to your bank account. So they're able to immediately withdraw that money from your account and give that to the merchant, and it's instantaneous. It comes right out of your bank account. Now, when you use it as credit, believe it or not, you're actually borrowing that money from the credit card company, whether it be MasterCard or Visa or whoever. So you're basically borrowing that money from them, where they pay that merchant and then they pull that out of your bank account. And that is a couple of day process to relay through their payment network. So again, like I said, if you really are trying to delay that transaction from hitting your account, running it as credit is probably a better idea than debit, because with debit it's going to take that money out immediately. Third of all, running it as credit may give you some additional purchase protection. It's not a lot, because basically Visa and MasterCard, like we said in the other video, have a couple of perks in terms of rental car insurance, or they offer in some cases extended warranties on their higher tiers of cards. But most people with the standard MasterCard or Visa card, there aren't a ton of perks. But if you do run it as credit and you're running through their payment network, you may have the ability to have some perks or warranties that go above and beyond what you would traditionally get if you just ran it through your bank. But definitely do some research on your card and what tier credit card you have to determine whether or not you're actually going to get any perks for that. And then fourth and finally, this is one of the old tricks of retail. I used to work at JCPenney for a couple of years, and what would happen is people who made purchases on a debit card, when they made a return, they could just get cash from us as opposed to having to get that money put back onto their bank statement. And so if that's an advantage to you, where if you're making a purchase and you just want to get cash for a return, some stores will allow you to do that with debit card transactions, and it's not going to be possible with a credit card transaction, because they have to relay through that credit card network. But anyways, guys, that is the difference between a debit transaction and a credit transaction. And so the only situations when you'd really want to use debit is if you want to get cash back. And basically any other situation than that, credit is going to allow that transaction to take a little bit longer to post, and it may offer you some perks above and beyond, like maybe an extended warranty or possibly, rental car insurance, but definitely do some research on that and see what your card is offering. And then the only other time where it might make sense to use debit is if you're making a purchase at a store and you want to be able to get cash as a refund as opposed to putting it back on your card where it's going to take a couple of days to process. But that's it, guys. The one myth I want to share with you too. I could not believe this, but some people believed that by selecting credit when using their debit card that they're building credit for themselves. That is not true. You have to use an actual credit card to build credit. Using a debit card as credit is not building your credit. So I hope nobody really believes that, but I saw that online and I wanted to mention that. But thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.